Alright, guys, so let's get into it. We're reading about Revelation 12. Alright, so guys, we're going to go down through every verse. Now, Revelation 12 is a sort of summary, alright, and one of the chapters in Revelation. So, what the Revelation do, it goes in chronological order, okay, and then it pauses in some chapters to give us a summary of what's going on, so we won't be getting too derailed or too confused of what we're reading in this symbolic book of Revelation. So we're going to go down through every verse, guys, because right now, this is the timeline of what's happening right now. So guys, Revelation 12 is the sixth seal. Okay, so if you've seen my last video, The Rapture, which is very important while you watch some of the videos, okay, or some parts of the videos, so you can follow the sequence I'm going into. Guys, so we understand that the seals, okay, is not part of the 7-year Great Tribulation. The seals have been happening for centuries, okay? It has gotten worse. More seals have been opened. It is the birth pains, okay? The birth pains is not part of the Great Tribulation because it is the birth pains. When the birth pain ends, that's when the Great Tribulation starts, and that's what the seals are. Okay, so right now we're in the sixth seal. Okay, now a lot of things happen in the sixth seal. So let's go to the sixth seal. We go to Revelation 6, I believe. Now, I'm kind of slow with this Bible. I've been trying to get back into it. I haven't been reading the Bible that much, or I've been doing a lot of procrastinating. So I need to get back into it. But if we read about this sixth seal, so if we go to Revelation 12 if we go to Revelation 6 verse 12, it reads, "And I behold, when he hath opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood." So guys, this is talking about the lunar and solar eclipse, okay? "And the stars of heaven fell onto the earth, and even as a fig tree cast her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind, and the heavens departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and rich men, and chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sit on the throne, from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?" So guys, this is just clear indication that the wrath didn't even come yet. So the seals cannot be part of the Great Tribulation, because you see in the sixth seal that the day of his wrath is to come. And guys, the trumpets didn't happen yet. Okay, so guys, we know in the sixth seal, okay, we just read it. Now we're going to do some comparing in Revelation 12. Let's get started. So Revelation 12 verse 1. "A great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head." Someone else had a dream similar to this. If we go to Genesis 37 verse 9, it reads, "Then he had another dream, and he told it to his brothers. Listen," he said, "I had another dream, and this time the sun, moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to me." Alright, Joseph and the women are not the only ones that are welcomed by the heavens. Okay? If we go to Ezekiel 28 verse 13, it reads, "You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone adorned you." Okay, and it named 9 precious stones. "Your settings and mountings were made of gold. On the day you were created, they were prepared." So guys, this is talking about Lucifer, guys, and you see that these stones adored him, just like the sun, moon, and stars were bowing down to Joseph, just like the woman is clothed with the sun, moon, and crowned with stars. And it says in Ezekiel 28, speaking of Satan, your settings and mountings were made of gold. So guys, his foundation where he was near, guys, it was made of gold. And on the day you were created, they were prepared just for Satan. So guys, it names 9 stones. Now this woman is favored by God and very supported. He shows this admiration through his unearthly gifts. All those stones could very well be talking about planets, because there are 9 stones, and in verse 14 it talks about how Lucifer was stationed in Mount Zion in heaven, and how he walked among fiery stones going from Mount Zion to Garden of Eden, which is on earth. So he was walking among fiery stones, and you have in verse 13 they're naming 9 stones. So if we're talking about going from heaven to earth, what could those stones be? It is talking about, guys, 9 planets. So you got Ezekiel 28 verse 13, okay, and verse 14 and 15. So guys, the 12 stars that is crowned on the woman in Revelation 12 verse 1, those that represent Israel. We know this is from Joseph, since his brothers that I read in Genesis 37, his brothers were the symbolic meaning of the 11 stars, and of course Joseph will make up for the 12th star. The 12 tribes started from these brothers. This would make many assume to call the woman Israel, but it's not that simple. Okay, the stars already has the spot. So who could the woman be? We know the crowns of the stars represent Israel. It represents the tribes. So who exactly is the woman? Okay. So guys, we go to Revelation, okay, verse 12. Revelation 12, verse 2. It reads, she was pregnant, cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. Matthew 24 verse 8. All these are the beginning of birth pains. So guys, you got another proof that the seals are the birth pains. And now we're about to witness what happens when it's about to give birth. So guys, we understand from previous videos that the seals are not part of the tribulation, because the trumpets and the bowls are part of the 7-year Great Tribulation. The reason why the seals can't be part of a particular years of trial is because the seals have been happening the centuries, even in Jesus' day. It's been many false prophets. The first seal, okay, civil war, gangs, mass shootings, slavery, that's the second seal. You got poverty increasing, famine, sickness, that's the third seal. Death of war, death of starvation, endangerment of the wild animals, and we know they're extincting like crazy, so that's the fourth seal. Then killing of Christians, which have been frequent across the world. That the old popes of the Catholic faith have been involved in killing Christians. Countries like North Korea and China, and especially Nigeria, they all have been involved in killing Christians throughout the centuries, and that is all the 5th seal. Alright, so some of the 6th seal have happened, like the lunar eclipse and solar eclipse, but Jesus showing himself in the sky have yet to happen. Our falling stars seem not yet to happen. We don't know if the 144,000 are fully sealed, because that happens in the 6th seal before the 7th seal opens, but the seals are the birth pains. If the woman about to give birth, that means the seals ends and the Great Tribulation is on its way. Alright, so we go to Revelation 12 verse 3. It reads, then seen another sign in heaven, an enormous dragon with 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns. So this represents, okay, now before I go on, guys, so what you're going to understand in the book of Revelation is that the reason why the book is so short, first of all, because most of the books in the New Testament are shorter than the Old Testament anyway. But the thing about Revelation is that it gives double entendres of what's going on in heaven and what's going on in earth, and they're happening at the same time during these times. Okay, so you see in Revelation 12 verse 13, the dragon has 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns. So you go to Daniel, I think Daniel 7, 8, 10, and all those chapters, okay, you get a glimpse of what the 7 head means, the 7 tens, the 10 horns, the 7 crowns. So guys, it's talking about the United Nations. So guys, now, not yet. I don't think the United Nations have 10 nations, but it's going to happen. So it's going to happen. So guys, the 7 heads represents the 7 continents, okay? This is talking about the world power. Okay, the 10 horns is 10 nations, okay? That's the United Nations, okay? And 7 crowns represent 7 kings or presidents, okay? Whatever. But that is what it's talking about here. Remember, Satan tries to tempt Jesus in many ways, and one of them was offering the kingdoms of the world to Jesus. So Satan is offering the kingdoms of the world to Jesus, because Satan is the kingdom. He is the king of this world. He's the ruler of this world. And he has the audacity to offer the kingdoms of the world to Jesus, like Jesus ain't create you. You know what I'm saying? Like Jesus created Satan through his word. So remember, the previous video, Satan is the ruler of this world. Thanks to Adam, the world government is a representation of Satan. So if we go to Revelation 12, verse 4, okay, it reads, "It swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth, so that it might devour her child the moment he was born." So there we go. We got a clue that happened in the 6 seals. The stars falling. So it swept third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. So these stars could be talking about hosts. These stars could be talking about angels. These stars could be talking about anything. It could be talking about meteors. Or if you watch the Transformers, remember the Transformers are whoever that came from like out the sky. They crash as meteors as first, and then these meteors start to come alive as a real physical appearance or as a physical being. So these stars falling out the sky could mean anything. So any interpretation is definitely open, but to put it on a specific one, it's very hard to do. But but I am confirming that this is talking about the 6th seal. This could be talking about the same stars falling happening in the 6th seal in Revelation 6. Jesus also talked about stars falling during the chapter of 24 of Matthew. But there's only one verse I could find about the stars falling because of a force from an entity such as the dragon. So remember, the 6th seal in Revelation 6, it didn't give us why the stars fell. Alright, Revelation 12 verse 4 is telling us how it fell and who made it fail. So the only verse I could find that represents someone else throwing down the host, okay, is Daniel chapter 8 verse 10. It goes, "It grew until it reached this is talking about the little horn. It grew until it reached the host of heavens, and it threw some of the starry hosts down to earth and trampled on them." Alright guys, so this is talking about the Antichrist. So this is a nice precept considering the symbolic meaning of the dragon, because remember the symbolic meaning of the dragon earthly is that this is the earth government, and we know that the Antichrist will be leader over the whole government. So the Antichrist will be rising even before the trumpet starts, since this is the 6th seal. Alright? Hope I'm not going too fast. So by Revelation 4, we understand that the Antichrist is rising, and we're in the 6th seal. Revelation 12, verse 5. "She gave birth to a son, a male child, who will rule all nations with an iron scepter, and her child was snatched up to God and to his throne." So if we read Isaiah 66, 7 through 8, "Before she troubled, she brought forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man-child. Who have heard such a thing? Who have seen such a thing? Shall the earth be made bring forth in one day, or shall a nation be born at once. For as soon as Zion traveled, she brought forth her children. Isaiah verse regarding this man-child is describing a pregnancy that involves several children. So guys, the man-child is a term. So what's going on, Isaiah 66 verse 7 through 8 is giving us this term of what a man-child is. So it's describing a birth that involves multiple children at once in one verse. Okay, that's what it's saying. It's saying, who has seen such a thing? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? So guys, this is another way. It's a double entendre because it's talking about what's going on in heaven and what's going on in earth. So we know in heaven, we know on earth that many people refer to Isaiah 66 verse 7 through 8 with Israel being collided. But what's going on in heaven right now in the sixth seal, guys, is that this is talking about a rapture, guys. So guys, this man-child is not referring to Jesus, okay? It's not. Jesus promises one of the seven churches the iron scepter, okay, if you go to Revelation 2, verse 27. Since we know it's not Jesus, it has to be the 144,000, since the man-child is caught up to God's throne. All of this is in the timeline of the sixth seal. The only group that is seen in heaven during the Great Tribulation is the 144,000. Because if you go to Revelation 14, isn't the 144,000 described as males who are virgins? Okay, it's a symbolic saying in Revelation that, so when it says that the 144,000 are male, that they are virgins, it's speaking symbolic. Because if you go to 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 1, it says, now the Spirit speaks expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. So think of harlot or even the whore Babylon. Jesus even mentioned Jezebel in Revelation 2 verse 20. Okay. So guys, there are many doctrines within churches that have divide. You have self-claimed prophets, the people who made like Jehovah's Witness and Mormon. You have these self-claimed prophets that don't even go as far back as before the 1800s, and they just influence a generation. And so most of the interpretations you hear today are not scripture, but it came from an individual that was influential in the religion market, since they only want your money. But the 144,000 are wise virgins, didn't fall for this in the last days. We fell for it. We, the great multitude, the foolish virgins in Matthew 25, fell for it. But guys, the man-child, okay, in Revelation 12, verse 5, is the 144,000, okay? In Revelation 12, verse 6, the woman fled into the wilderness where she had a place prepared of God, that they shall feed her there 1,203 days. So guys, we go to Daniel chapter 7, verse 25. It reads, and he shall speak great words against the Most High. This is talking about the Antichrist. And shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be giving into his hands until a times and times in the dividing of time. So guys, that's 3.5 years. This is talking about the Great Tribulation, guys. So if we go to Daniel 12, verse 7, it reads, and I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, which he hath held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and he swore by him that lived forever, that it shall be a times and a half, and when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. So we get many from these verses. It's safe to assume that the woman is Jerusalem. So the woman that is pregnant in Revelation 12 that we're reading is Jerusalem. Okay? after all, the Antichrist will be reigning in Jerusalem, the same Jerusalem Jesus will fight for during the day of the Lord. The Antichrist will trick Jerusalem into being their savior. During this, the people of Jerusalem will be protected. In other words, it's best to live in Jerusalem during the Great Tribulation, because I think most of the other world would be very bad anyway. But whatever. That's probably not even true, but whatever. You know, wherever you live, just be with Jesus Christ. You feel me? Alright, so we go to Revelation 12, 7 through 9. It reads, "Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. The dragon and his angels fought back. But he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, the ancient spirit called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him." So guys, this war between Michael and Satan was inedible. It isn't, and this isn't Michael's first confrontation with Satan. And if you go to Jude 1 verse 9, "But even the archangel Michael, when he was disputing with the devil about the body of Moses, he did not himself to condemn him for slaughter, but said, 'The Lord rebuke you.'" Satan had access to heaven since earth is his dominion. Satan usually takes advantage of the opportunity to accuse God's people in heavenly conferences. So if you go to Job 1 verse 6, Satan was accusing Job. And if you go to Zechariah 3 verse 2 through 3, he was accusing Joshua. Remember, Satan is trying to get to the man-child who have been caught up to God. Satan invades heaven in pursuit for the man-child. Who is the man-child? The 144,000. Satan is trying to stop the sealing of the 144,000. So this sealing is taking time. Alright, so remember, in Daniel 10, remember when Gabriel was trying to deliver a message, and it took him 21 days because the prince of Persia, or the prince of Greece, they was resisting Gabriel, and Gabriel was going in war all just to deliver this message. So imagine what's going on with the seals. You know what I'm saying? Guys, the seals is taking time because the Michael the archangel is fighting for the 144,000 to get sealed right now. Okay, right now. And they're going to be doing this for a very long time. And guys, during this time, since that's happening in heaven, it's safe to assume that World War III is on its way. Double entendre. This is the book of Revelation. If Satan, who is representation of the world government, is going to war in heaven, you best to believe the same thing is happening on earth. World War III is definitely on its way, people. Satan is trying to stop the sealing of the 144K. So who are sealing the 144K? Okay, guys, the 4 angels. Okay, the 4 angels is sealing the 144,000. I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried. Okay, so guys, all these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth. So guys, we know that one of the 4 angels could be Michael, could be, guys. Alright, but anyway, guys, if you go to Daniel 12 verse 1, "At that time Michael, the great prince who protects your people, will arise. There will be a time of distress such as not have happened from the beginning of nations until then. And at that time your people, everyone whose name is written in the book, will be delivered." So guys, this is talking about the bows, guys. This is talking about the bows. So guys, the last rapture to happen, well, and plus the 144 sealing is really not the rapture, yeah, they do get caught up to heaven, but they're going to come back down on earth as priests to help gain the great multitude, okay? And then the last trumpet, everybody, including the great multitude, will be raptured, because the trumpet is the Lamb wrath. The bowls is God the Father wrath. And no one will be here for God the Father wrath. We will be here for the Lamb wrath. Okay, so if you go to Ezekiel 9:3-4, it reads, "Now the glory of God of Israel went up from above the cherubim, where it had been, and moved to the threshold of the temple. Then the Lord called to the man clothed in linen, who had the writing kit on his side, and said unto him, Go throughout the city of Jerusalem, and put a mark on the foreheads of those who grieve and lamentate over the detestable things that are done in it." This is talking about the sealing of the 144,000, guys, and marks on the foreheads. Marks on the foreheads. So Michael and his angels are going to war in heaven, and this may last for even years, since angels can't die. Okay? So listen, man, it is what it is. Alright? So if we go to Revelation 12, verse 10-12, it reads, "Then I heard a loud voice in heaven, Now have come the salvation and the power of the kingdom of our God, and the authority of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brothers and sisters, who accused them before our God day and night, has been hurled down. They trampled over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. They did not love their lives so much as to shrink from death." So guys, this is talking about the martyrs. Okay? "Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell in them, but woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has gone down to you. He is filled with fury, and he knows that his time is short." So it says, but woe to the earth and the sea. So guys, Satan, he's thrown down to earth, and guys, Satan from now on has no access to the third heavens or second heavens. Earth is his only place, including his angels. Michael is not only protecting the 144,000, but he overthrew Satan's domain in space, guys, and for Jesus. So guys, what happened is, when Paul would say that there is princes and authorities that you cannot see in this world, guys, that was talking about the second heavens, because in the second heavens are in space are what you want to call aliens, guys. They are those are fallen angels who are now princes and kings, and who actually rule these earthly kings, and these earthly kings do rituals for these so-called aliens, bro. I don't know how much more blunt to pull it, but it's true. So guys, what happened is, when you say that the aliens are coming, this is when the so-called aliens are coming, is when Satan is thrown down and loses his war against Michael the Archangel, because these so-called aliens no longer have access to space. So they're all on earth now. That's what happened, guys. When it says Satan and his angels fought Michael and his angels, this is a whole warfare. This is not just talking about Satan and 3 of his angels. This is talking about Satan and all of his armies going against Michael, the Archangel army. And that is what happened in heaven. So now all of Satan's and angels is now on earth. So guys, the aliens will be coming in the 6th seal, guys. Alright, this is where Satan gives the Antichrist his power through Jesus' trumpets. Oh, and by the way, guys, this is when, the 6th seal, okay, this is when Jesus is showing his face, when the war of Satan and Michael is over. Jesus is now showing his face, because now Michael just cleared a pathway where Jesus is going to operate the trumpets from space. This is why we see his face in the sky. This is not talking about his second coming. Jesus Christ did not step on earth. But this is not also talking about your little secret rapture, because everyone sees him. Everyone sees Jesus' face during this time, and then Jesus is going to operate all the trumpets from there. Okay, so guys, what Jesus is doing, he's closing in on the earth before he reigns it completely. He's pushing in from heaven. he made his reign in space, now he's about to make his reign on earth, and that is the day of Armageddon, the day of the Lord, when he fights for Jerusalem. That's when he actually steps on earth. That is the thief in the night verse, okay, when he's saying that no one will be prepared. But right now, he's not stepping on earth yet. He's just showing his face right now because he's about to start operating the trumpets from space. All right? So, guys, if we go to this chapter, I think it's Obadiah, but Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 4. Though you soar like the eagle and make your nest among the stars, from there I will bring you down, declare the Lord. You soar like the eagle, and you make your nest among the stars. From there I will bring you down. So, guys, who nests from among the stars? That has to be talking about fallen beings, because it says from there I will bring you down. So, guys, nest among the stars, that's unearthly. That's unearthly. That's not on earth. Stars are not inside the earth. I think that's what you flat earthers believe. But anyway, from there I will bring you down. So, guys, that's talking about a civilization of fallen beings that's not on earth. This is talking about your so-called aliens, okay? And, guys, we will be warring too, okay? And Malachi and Malachi or Malachi, I think. Chapter 4, verse 2 through 3. But for you who reserve my name, the Son of Righteousness will rise with healing in its rays or wings, okay? And you will go out and frucker like well-fed calves, and there you will trample on the wicked, and they will be ashes under the soles of your feet on the day when I act. So, guys, remember, everybody will be raptured before the bowls come. And when we come back on the sixth bowl, which is Armageddon, the day of the Lord, we're going to come with Jesus. The multitude is going to come with Jesus, and we will have wings. We will have wings, okay? And we will be going to war with him, and we will have fire under our feet, going to war with Jesus, and we will be trampling on the wicked on that day when he acts. Okay, so, guys, in Revelation 12, verse 13 through 16, it reads, when the dragon saw that he had been hurled to earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the man-child, and the woman was given the two wings of a great eagle, so that she might fly to the place prepared for her in the wilderness, where she would be taken care for times and half a time out the serpent's reach. Then from there his mouth, the serpent, shall swoop waters like rivers to overtake the woman and to sweep her under the torment. But the earth helped the woman by opening its mouth and swallowing the river that the dragon had swooped out of his mouth. The dragon goes after Jerusalem. Satan makes some type of storm involving water like tsunami, because he controls this stuff. That's why it said, woe to the earth and woe to the sea. He has control over this stuff some way. Could be talking about something like HARP. Okay, it's not too far-fetched, right? World government, controlling weather, whatever. But Ephesians 2, verse 2, it says, in which you live when you follow the ways of the world and of the ruler of the kingdom of the air, the spirit who now work in those who are disobedient. If we go to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4, in their case, the God of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelievers to keep them from seeing the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. If we go to John 12:31, okay, now the judgment of this world, now will the ruler of this world be cast out. So if we go to Matthew 4, 8 through 9, it reads, again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said to them, all these I will give you if you fall down and worship me. Satan is the ruler of this world. So imagine the ruler of this world and all of his angels cast down to earth after Michael beat his butt, and they have no other ways to go. So guys, this is the last verse of Revelation. Revelation 12 verse 17. Then the dragon became furious with the woman and went off to make war with the rest of her offspring, of those who keep the commands of God and hold to the testimony of Jesus. And he stood on the sand of the sea. So we know the man-child is the 144K. We understand that the 144K were sealed and caught up. Okay, if we go to Revelation 14 verse 3, they were singing a new song before the throne and before the four living creatures who are the seraphims, and not the cherubims, the seraphims, and before the elders. No one could learn the song except the 144,000 who have been redeemed from the earth. We understand that the man-child was caught up. This chapter also talking about another group such as Revelation 7. This must be talking about the great multitude. Let's dive a little deeper into the great multitude and examine how important we are. Even though the 144,000 will have authority over us because they will be living in the temple with Jesus when he reigns 1,000 years, we will be living on the outer courts of the gates. But the 144,000 will have ranks, but the great multitude, we're still within the children of God. Like we will be, no one will be in heaven forever because we'll be on the new earth. We were meant to be on earth, but the only thing is God will be with us on earth too. All right, and if you look back at Revelation 7, out of the 12 tribes, you notice Ephraim is not included. So guys, Jacob, okay, or Israel, okay, back in the Old Testament, he adopts Joseph's son. So we go to Genesis 48, verse 5, and this reads, now your two sons who were born to you in the land of Egypt before I came to you in Egypt are mine. Ephraim and his brother shall be mine, as Reuben and Simon are. Alright, so Genesis 48, verse 17 through 19. When Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand on the head of Ephraim, it displeased him, and he took his father's hand to move it from Ephraim's head to his brother's head. And Joseph said unto his father, not this way, my father, since this is the firstborn, put your right hand on his head. But his father refused and said, I know, my son, I know. He shall become a people, and he shall become great. Nevertheless, his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his offspring shall become multitude of nations. So Satan will be going to war, and this is where the mark of the beast will take its toll. During this time, Satan is no longer the accuser, so more miracles and blessings will help us through the time of tribulation. The 144,000, okay, each 144,000 will have a group of individuals, and that group will make up great multitude, because we will, as great multitude in the great tribulation, we're going to find one of the 144,000. Each 144,000, okay, each person, each individual of the 144,000 will have a group, okay, that they will be teaching, they will be helping through the great tribulation, through power and through word, and through healing and through all of that. It will be the 144,000 that will be leading as priests, okay, and it will make up for the great multitude, because that is their mission. Their mission is to make up the great multitude. Or Daniel 12 verse 3, turn many to righteousness. Alright, so now the 144,000, okay, well, they will be going from heaven to earth, just like Lucifer was. Guys, and also the 144,000, they have gotten all the promises in the 7 churches, not the great multitude. This is why the 144,000 is a class above us. Alright, because they got all the promises in Revelation 12, not the great multitude. Okay? So you see them on earth in Revelation 9, verse 4. It says they were told not to harm the grass of the earth or any green plants or any trees, but only those who do not have the seal of God on their forehead. Guys, they're not going to harm the great multitude. Guys, they're not going to harm the 144,000, the people who's being redeemed from earth. So guys, remember, the 144,000 will also be singing. Guys, the 144,000 will be taking the position of Lucifer, guys. And that is the whole point of why Lucifer has so much guts and so much stupidity to invade heaven and to fight Michael the Archangel, and which is why he's stopping the 144,000 now, because the 144,000 will be taking Lucifer's place in heaven. Whew. Alright guys, that's it. I may do a part 2 to read other verses or whatever, but I think this is all I could do. I love each and every one of you guys. I'm definitely coming out with more videos. And yeah, I'm tired. I got work in like 2 hours, so yeah, it's hectic for me. So I'm gonna get off. I love each and every one of you. And before I go on about the aliens, because I know y'all thinking this stuff is crazy or whatever, guys, there's no such thing as aliens. I'm trying to tell you that they're the fallen angels. And if you read and if you have seen my second video, you understand that these same fallen angels used to be here before the earth became a void and before the Lord made the image of God, which is us. Guys, these so-called aliens are smarter than us because they're angelical beings. They also have been, they have also lived on earth before. These so-called aliens have been living for maybe 100,000 of years, guys. They know every ins and outs about this earth because they lived in it. They used to be inhabited in it. And guys, now they have more knowledge outside of the earth. So guys, when they come back down, guys, they're not coming back down to unfamiliar territory. That's why I'm telling you there's no such thing as aliens, because the perceptions of aliens is that they was birthed from somewhere outside of the earth. No, these are angels. These angels can form themselves into any environment they want to, which is why they are able to cross the lines of earth. It's not that other planets have a form of life. It's just that the angels are able to adapt to inhabitate in different environments outside of the earth. There's no such thing as alien, guys. These are fallen angels. These are the same fallen angels that these world governments have been in communications with, have been doing rituals for. Okay? Because these guys are kings and they do rituals to please the ultimate king, the ruler of this world, Satan. Alright, y'all. That's it. Love each and every one of you.